Hi, this is the Ilanot Review Fixations. I'm Anita Herag and my story in the issue is Size L, translated from the Hungarian by Marietta Morry and Burgess. I hope you will enjoy my reading from Budapest, Hungary. Size L. The panties were still there. They were blue with a flower pattern, mid-thigh style with lace trim. There were two undershirts, a pair of trousers beside them. She couldn't see farther than that and couldn't make out the rest of the clothes. They had been hanging there for 2 days now, above the street for everyone to see. She saw them too, looked at them, stared at them, could not take her eyes off them. Instead of sun awnings, the narrow streets were shaded by the clothes hanging on the lines. She noticed the drying clothes in Barry Gothic as soon as they'd arrived. She used these to orient herself in the neighborhood. She remembered on which street, on which balcony she saw them. She could recall the trousers, the striped t-shirts. Her husband spread his arms in the narrow streets, trying to touch the buildings on either side. He was glad when sometimes he almost succeeded. He took a lot of pictures. At the Arc de Triomphe, he couldn't take any decent photos because crews were busy removing the paraphernalia left over from a festival. In Park Well, he took a picture of a pigeon with a wounded foot. In the evening in the Airbnb, when they sat on the faded green sofa that seemed vivid green in the pictures and looked at the photos from that day, her husband remarked that she was looking up in almost all of them. Don't look at the clothes, look at the sights. She couldn't explain that she couldn't look anywhere else. She hadn't seen panties or bras anywhere but here, only these with the flower pattern. They were there the day before as well when they went to the Arc de Triomphe and also today on the way to the Parc de la Cittadella. They were hanging there. Had they been forgotten? They must have dried by now. She imagined a woman who might wear such blue flowered panties. From down below they seemed big, at least size large. A big and shapely Barcelonian behind. She imagines the woman walking on the street wearing a tight white dress with the outline of the panties showing through, and, were she to look closely, she could even see the flowers. All day long she kept looking at women's behinds, wondering which one the panties belonged to. Not to the tourists for sure. They wouldn't forget about their change of clothes. She was looking for a woman from Barcelona with at least a large size behind. She found the Spanish women very beautiful. No, they are not Spanish but Catalans, she corrected herself. Her husband also considered them beautiful. He liked their dark skin, their dark brown hair, and their confidence. That she also liked. They moved regally through the streets. She was always nagged about straightening up, pulling in her belly, and keeping her head high. She even bought a back straightening band, but couldn't use it. It cut into her underarms. After a while, she noticed that she and her husband turned their heads to look at the same women. Her husband was also watching their behinds. She knew he was an ass man, but not to what extent. That afternoon, when they arrived at their place, and before their evening outing, she went into the bathroom and started looking at her behind in the mirror. It was quite flat, her breasts rather big, her arms relatively pretty, her skin white. She got a sunburn on her chest. You could see the outline of her undershirt on her shoulder. She stuck her behind out a little bit, which made her look like a chicken. Sometimes when her husband drinks too much, he tells her that this is the tragedy of his life. He is an ass man, yet he married a woman with large breasts. Of course he was just joking, he always adds. Even at home she didn't like to let people see her underwear. When she dried her clothes in the backyard, she always put the panties and other underwear on the inner rungs of the large clothes rack. Then she quickly added the others so that the neighbors couldn't see them. Her husband often teased her about it, that no one would look at her panties. One time he even said that no one was interested in them. That's what she was thinking about when they arrived back that night from La Rambla. She couldn't sleep, was restless, wondering about the Barcelonian behind, wondering where it might be. She got out of bed, got dressed, and carefully closed the door behind her. The city was full of tourists even at night. She easily found the street. The panties were still hanging there on the first floor. She looked around, no one happened to be near. She took off her slippers and started to throw them at the clothesline. A white undershirt fell down. It was more difficult to hit the panties, but she succeeded at last. She slipped them in her purse. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye.